Hey, how you doing? It's Mr. Wilson here for our weekly report of what's going on in your students' classroom. Okay, first things first. Normally every year we have back to school first week of September or so, and of course the with COVID being here, we can't have it. So in lieu of a normal back to school, I'm going to be sending you an email on Tuesday that will kind of cover most of the information that you would actually receive in a back to school. I'll be a little more specific on my grading policy, and it'll just be an opportunity for you guys to learn a little bit about me. Um, with that said, the next day we're actually going to have a live Zoom session where I would like for all of you parents to show up, and if you have any questions for me or any concerns, it'll be a perfect time for you to be able to express it, or especially if in my slide presentation or these weekly videos, I'm not answering every question you may have. It'll be an excellent time for you to be able to just kind of have the opportunity to discuss something with me. That Zoom session will be on Wednesday, September the 9th at 9 a.m. It will be from 9 a.m. to 9:45. So it's about a 45-minute window. The only reason why only 45 minutes is because at 10 o'clock, um, I'll have students. So I won't be able to extend it. But nevertheless, hey, we'll have an opportunity to probably see each other face to face or through the camera. Um, so look for that on Tuesday on your email. As far as grades, I've entered grades today and yesterday for both language arts and math. The history grades I will be updating this weekend, as well as science. Now, there's still a few language arts grades that I have not entered into the grade book, but my hope and plan is by Tuesday, grades will be up to date. This week, I give less assignments in language arts than I had in previous weeks, in hopes of helping our students not feel overwhelmed. With that said, uh, I do still accept late work. So if you notice when you check Parent Portal that some of your students are missing an assignment or two or three or however many, all you need to do is just tell them to get to work. You don't need to send me an email requesting that I allow them to turn in late work. I'm telling you, I'm going to allow it, especially in the conditions in the time that we are in now. Um, they need that little extra amount of opportunity. So I'm not holding it against any students. We just want to get them to turn in all of their work, as well as want them to learn. So, which brings me to our segue. What are we going to be covering next week? What should our students be expecting? In math, they're going to be taking an assessment on how to number do division problems involving fractions. I have to kind of figure out how I want to say that. So we're looking at mixed numbers, improper fractions, proper fractions. They're just working on their division skills in regards to that. We're also going to probably be introducing decimals, how to use them, because in our next major chapter, it's going to be pretty important that they know how to navigate math problems that have a decimal. So we're going to go into that. I know some of our students were introduced to it in elementary, so we'll see how that goes. In language arts, we're going to be focusing on character analysis within a story. So we're going to read a few stories, and we're going to really try to break down certain traits of certain characters within the story. Last week or this week, we really spent more time focused on major events that develop the plot of a story. Well, now we're going to be speaking more about those characters. My hope is that I can tie traits that we notice in characters into some of our students, some of the similarities that they have, so they can create that connection of understanding of why that character is the way that they are, or why they did what they did in a particular situation. In history, so history, we're going to be focusing on how the advancement of farming eventually led to villages, cities, and all the way up to civilizations. Now, based off of how well the students go, as far as what they're learning and the material and how I feel about it, I might go all the way into speaking about 8 features of a civilization. I know it sounds not like the most interesting thing, but I promise when I presented it, it will be. For science, we will not have science next week because as our schedule is set up, we have one Zoom session for science and one Zoom session for history. And on Monday we do not have school, and that's usually when we would do history. But I want to cover history because in science we spoke about farming, and in history last week we spoke about farming. So I kind of want to keep that transition going, and I might interweave science concepts into history. As far as independent work, your students should be working on their multiplication every day. The reason why is I am measuring automaticity, which means can they answer multiplication questions without even thinking? It's just there, it's right there. And that's what we're trying to get our students to, because when when those facts are automatic, then they can focus on the comprehension of questions. But we really can't get to that point until their automaticity is at a certain level that they don't have to think about what 9 times 7 is or 7 times 8. So we're going to do multiplication one more week, and then we'll transition to division. Um, I will be assigning a reading assignment for them that they need to work on as well. They'll have all week to complete the assignment. If you can just kind of monitor them and make sure that they're doing that, all of their independent work, CNN 10, any quizzes that I give them, just monitor and make sure that they're doing it. I'll appreciate it greatly. I just thought about this. So every day your students are assigned a quizzes, which is not an actual quiz. It's not a test. I I grade it as class work. It's just another measure for me to see if our students are learning the material, and if not, it kind of helps me understand if I need to slow down or they're getting it and I can proceed to the next topic. So if you see them working on a quizzes, it's not a test. I know the name is kind of misleading in that way. Beyond that, I just want to continue to tell you thank you for allowing me to work with your students. I really am beginning to enjoy them, and though some of them are, it's remote, I can already begin to feel some sense of a relationship being formed. Uh, and I'm real big on relationships. I want the kids to know, I want your students to know that I care about them, that I'm going to challenge them, but I do care about their progress and that we're in it together to help them reach their best version of themselves. So, with that said, it's nothing more for me to give you. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm always an email away. But that's it. Have a good one.